Good morning and welcome to my Zone 5B garden. It is June 17th today, and wow, the bulbs finishing up, but this is very interesting to me. So we've got, these were some purple alliums. Most of them have been, you can see the bees were all over them, so they've been pollinated, and so now they just look like these otherworldly green balls. And then coming up with them, which I think was part of the mix that I had bought, are these white ones. So they were starting to surprise me. The foliage really does start looking bad, but you know, from what I understand, if I leave these here in the garden, it's going to be a couple of months before they may actually dry out, and then they would drop seed, and I kind of love these, so I may just let them do that. Then we get into what have I planted. Well, I have randomly planted some flower seeds and some like basil seeds and things. These I think are little tiny seedling cosmos, maybe an inch or two tall at this point. I've got a couple of tomatoes here that a neighbor was kind enough to give me. These are two together. They were in the same pot, and you can see there's even a flower starting there. These here, all right, in my back corner. I did not plant these. I wondered at first what they were because I didn't plant anything that looked like that. These are a couple of pieces of potato that I had stuck under there months ago to compost, and instead they are coming up. So these are in fact potato plants, and I found that out because I think I used an app called Picture This, which you could just take a picture of a plant. Got a little tiny pea plant there coming up, and then kind of all in the back here amongst you know, just amongst the old stuff, I threw a few flower seeds, and some of those are starting to come up, like right here. These ones may be the cosmos. They seem to have been the most successful in actually finding their ground here, and there's not really a lot to show you in here other than that at this point. Look at this. As far as the hyacinths go, you can see as they've been aging and drying out, they start to get like little purple speckles there at the bottom. I thought that was kind of interesting. Here we go, two more tomato plants that are together. That might be a pea plant, but it could be a morning glory. You can see, I think these here are the morning glories, where I had soaked the seed and just popped them in to see what they would do, just out of curiosity. I thought, boy, wouldn't that be nice to have like a 10-foot long plant. And then over here, I think that's a cosmos as well. So we'll hopefully get some flowers here. Now you can check out the rest of the garden bed. Some of these tulips are still, like, they're still a green plant, even if they don't have their flowers anymore. Most of these that have gone all pink at the moment are the pink impressions. Got some nice space. Oh, I decided to use these giant popsicle sticks to try to indicate to myself for this fall, so I wouldn't forget exactly where I wanted to plant some more tulips, so I could just like use the bulb auger or the bulb tool and make a little hole and pop a tulip down. So that's my strategy. Over here, get that, we've got more coming up. So I put a Supertunia in the ground over here because I happen to have an extra one, and I'm hoping it takes off, but as you can see, there's one little bloom there, and it's actually, this is the whole plant here. So I'm gonna give it some additional fertilizer, see what it does. These roses back here, the two in the back have already been in like full bloom at one point, with yellow roses. That one's getting some more. This one here in the middle is a different variety, but also yellow, and it has buds all over it. We've got I think that's a beard ton back there, and I threw a few just flower seeds that might germinate over there. And here we go. All right, I've got some coleus there. We've got a couple of snapdragons. Some of these had actually come up from, this should be a yellow one that came up from last year. These are phlox, and I can see a little tiny, because I had three back here, and hopefully that little one there is coming back up. Those are some perennial salvias back there. it is kind of amazing to me just how much came up from last year. I think it's not as like it wasn't as hard to get things to come back as I thought it was going to be. This is, I think, a burning bush, which has loved the extra water that I've been putting in it this year, just as I've been going around planting. All right, and then look at that. That's a new little annual antenna that I popped in last week. Some of the tulips are going. There's a couple of daffodil foliage here. Look at that. That's the hydrangea coming back from the dead. Still surprised that it managed to live for like 2 years with like one leaf for a while. Look at that. This is doing great. Really, the watering back here has done a phenomenal job. My assumption that the water that's coming down from over there, and then also there's a sump pump there, I thought it was just flooding this whole backyard. And it certainly was to some extent, because you can see this is the same brother bush, a variegated willow, as this one that had been in the front yard. Born at the same time. This one had been here all last year. This one I just planted in the fall because I pulled it out from the front yard. And even it's doing pretty well. But comparatively, there's no comparison. This little bush back over here, I had gotten it a couple of years ago. I've mentioned before, it like would get one leaf. That was it. And now it's actually looking like it's supposed to be a shrub. Juniper that's not dead yet. Black lace elderberry in the middle here, surrounded by some tulips that are just finishing their dieback. I added a couple of snapdragons here just because I thought they were pretty. The ones from last year, like here, that are coming up are going to be yellow. There's one of the snaps, and then here we go. I think these are gladiolus that are coming up from last year. I did find thrips in all the ones that I had that I planted anew, and I yanked those out, but I'm really hoping that I yanked them out before all the thrips could spread to these. So we'll see. And then the beautiful garden that we had here with the tulips is no more. But a couple of these lily scales that I had thrown back here, or small lily bulbs that I had scaled and left a few together. Look at that. We have lily buds coming up. In fact, I think that one is too. So we'll see how that goes. It'll at least add some color back there, possibly as the tulips die back. So there's the yard for now. Thanks for joining me.